Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Her Story TV and the Her Story podcast. This is Getrude Matshe here in beautiful Wellington, New Zealand. I'm graced with the presence of yet another fascinating lady coming to us all the way from Indonesia tonight. Welcome, 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 Michelle. Tell everybody your full name, where you're based, how old you are, and share your story with us today.
Thank you, Gertrude. I'm Michelle T. Jones. I'm currently based in Jakarta, Indonesia. I am 52. And I forgot the last question.
What is your story?
Yes. So um, I I had a very big challenge when I was pregnant with my third child, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. So I had just moved into this new country, and life was a little bit challenging. And then add to that a difficult pregnancy. So this was my third pregnancy, and doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And so we tried to, get a lot of tests that we could, but because they have limitations when a woman is pregnant, not all the tests that could be done were done. And it wasn't until a few weeks after I'd given birth to my daughter that they finally had a chance to do the rest of the test. Meantime, I just, one of the most devastating responses that I got, Gertrude, was people saying, or the doctors saying, there's nothing wrong, everything's fine, the baby's fine, so you're okay. And I was thinking, but I'm not okay. I'm in so much pain. And the pain I felt was like a stabbing pain. It literally felt like someone was putting a knife through my gut. And it didn't matter if I was sitting or standing. There were, if someone tried to touch my belly, and you know how a lot of people like doing that when there's a pregnant woman in the room, it would hurt me. And considering as well that this was my third child, I knew it wasn't, a
Oh,
pregnancy pain.
yes.
But again, we were so limited. So good. I mean, I'm really glad that after the pregnancy, we were able to find out what it was. But the doctors diagnosed me with Crohn's disease. So there was ulceration in my bowel. And the doctor's solution to that was to go on steroids. And his exact words were, you'll have to go on steroids to get rid of the inflammation, but you'll be on steroids for the rest of your life.
Oh,
And
God.
so again, it wasn't something that I wanted to hear. This was my first child who I would have the opportunity to stay at home for. I was a working single parent for my first two kids.
Mm.
And now that I had an amazing partner who was willing to let me stay home and take care of our baby, it was so devastating to be told that, well, no, you can't really do that, because you
Wow.
can't feed your child the way you want to, or, you can't give her everything that you want to. So I spoke to my doctor and I said, look, I really want to breastfeed my child. And the doctor said, steroids have not been proven to cause any harm to babies through the breast milk. And I said, well, the problem with that is you can't guarantee that. And
Yes.
he did agree
You
that
are
there was
willing
no
to take that kind of a risk with your baby.
exactly. I wasn't intending on doing that. As a mother, you want to give your child the best, right? And
Yes.
so I said, look, give me a chance to try and figure out if there's any other way to get rid of this,
Mm.
or at least give me 6 months to breastfeed my baby. So
Okay.
the doctor agreed. He said, look, okay, do what you can, see if there's any other solution for you that's acceptable to you. But he said, if you still have this problem after 6 months, you have to come back and we have to put you on steroids.
Now,
So
let me just take you back a step. A lot of people know what Crohn's disease is, some people don't. So let's talk to the layman, somebody who's come on this call, is hearing you speak, maybe has the symptoms. Go back to the symptoms and then explain what Crohn's disease really is.
okay. So when you have Crohn's disease, there's a few things that you experience. Some people have a drastic weight loss. That wasn't the case with me, I guess, because of the pregnancy. But I had really horrible pains in my gut. And it hurts when you touch it. It hurts when you move a certain way. And it literally feels like, as I said, stabbing pain. Someone's, just put a knife through you.
Right.
And what that is that there's an ulceration in your bowel. So ulceration means you've got like wounds in your bowel.
Right.
And there's no way to stop the wound from there's no way to stop the wound from being inflamed, because food constantly goes through your bowel.
Yes.
And so the more you ate certain types of food, the more it was inflamed. That wasn't explained to me by the doctor, though. This was something that I learned afterwards.
Right.
A lot of the times, and I've done my research for Crohn's disease, when you get Crohn's, you get given steroids to get rid of the inflammation, because with the inflammation, you can't eat. Everything you eat irritates you. You lose weight most of the time, and you obviously don't get the nourishment that your body needs.
Yes.
So when the steroids are there, it gets rid of the inflammation. You're able to at least take in food. You're able to process the food better. Otherwise, you also get what you call blood in your bowels. So it's not always red blood that you see, like fresh blood that you see.
Right.
Sometimes it's like black stool that you see, because it's blood that's been in your bowel that's just moved on after a while. So that's the best explanation I can give. The problem with Crohn's is you don't see the wounds, so you don't see how bad it is. It's only when you do a colonoscopy that the doctor is able to see how bad the damage is in your colon.
Okay. Wow. Well, thank you for explaining that, because I've heard the term a lot of times before, but nobody's ever really explained what the symptoms are. Okay. So now you defied all of this medical diagnosis. You were very, very clear. Was that because you knew about alternative medical practices?
Not really. It was more because I was dead set on not damaging my daughter's system. My father had an aneurysm when I was 13, and I was faced with a situation of having to decide between family and our well-being, the children's well-being. So we were separated from my father because of the decision that the whole family basically made at the time. So I didn't want to make that decision. I wanted my daughter to have me, but I wanted my daughter to be healthy. I wanted to be able to provide everything I could for my daughter. And that included good health, or the best health, the best food that I can give her. And I grew up with women who've actually breastfed their babies, so I knew the importance of breast milk, and I wanted to be able to give that. So that was the only reason, really. In the Philippines, we did grow up with alternative medicines. We used it for different types of ailment. I did not know how to treat myself naturally with the Crohn's disease at the time. It was just maternal instinct, I guess.
Yes.
That led me to that. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And so you went down this route and you discovered something that has now turned into a profession.
That's right. So when I had to find my solution, I, did my research, read books. I went to iridologists, naturopaths, herbalists. So I had herbs. I was taking supplements. I did what you call an elimination diet. We did testings and found that I was intolerant to so many things that every time I ate those foods, the inflammation of my gut would get worse. Or it would also create what we call a leaky gut. So bigger pores in my gut started developing because of the foods I was eating. So Gertrude, I was intolerant to foods like banana, pineapple, foods that you'd think were okay. I remember I couldn't eat pork, I couldn't eat chicken. So there was such a limitation to what I could eat.
Yes.
And that didn't matter. I worked around that. I went so much as to put myself on what they call an elemental diet. Now, an elemental diet is basically a liquid diet, but it's not just juices or soups. It's a specific formula that you have to take to provide your body the nutrients it needs without any solids. And I was on that for 6 weeks. But that process that I went through actually allowed my body to go into remission.
Okay.
And that's the state I was in when I went back to my doctor and, told him I wasn't feeling anything, wanted to be checked, wanted to see if, I've succeeded in
Okay.
avoiding steroids.
Okay.
And he did his tests and he goes, "So what did you do?" And I explained what I did. And he literally said, "I can't believe you did that." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well," then he stands up, gets his medical journal from his shelf, and he goes, "Because it's here. It's been proven that the elemental diet can put Crohn's into remission." And I
Okay.
said, "So why didn't you ever tell me that?" And he said, "Because no one ever does it. No one ever completes it."
Oh
And
my
I thought, "Oh my gosh, I was willing to do anything. You should have offered it to me. It would have
goodness.
saved me all the trouble." But
But isn't that
anyway, that
incredible
actually,
though? Sorry to cut you off, but isn't that incredible with regards to how health practitioners operate based on these assumptions that nobody will do it, but some people are willing to sacrifice everything to get their health back on track. It's
that's
just
right.
amazing.
I couldn't understand it back then, but since then, Gertrude, I mean, as I said, I took that as a sign, as the silver lining, as that hidden message the
Yeah.
universe had for me, that I had to go into this and start giving people an option, an alternative to their health, that it wasn't always a dead end. It wasn't always medications that would help them solve their problem.
Yeah.
And when I got into that, I became a naturopath, became a herbalist, became a nutritionist, and I went into anti-aging medicine.
Okay.
So in the Oscillation Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, we are a group of alternative medicine practitioners and medical doctors who work together to actually help people achieve optimal health with a combination of both.
Right.
So when I met the doctors there, that was the only time I realized that there are so many restrictions for doctors. There are so many things that doctors can't recommend, otherwise they might be disbarred. So,
Okay.
it's not always a doctor's fault.
Yeah.
Um, and that's why I always say, everyone's got a place, everyone's got a role to play in the society. Doctors are there to help us diagnose an illness. They're so good at that. They know how to pinpoint what's wrong with you.
Okay.
And we have to work together to actually find the optimal solution for the patients now.
Yeah.
Nutritionists have a role to play, and herbalists have a role to play. So, and that's what I did. Started working with doctors, with other practitioners to be able to help clients find their solution, realize what the best way for them to move forward in their health.
Yes.
It's been an amazing journey.
It has been an amazing journey by the sound of it. And you sound like you've come out on the other side with this amazing opportunity to not just help yourself. I mean, you look amazing for a 52-year-old, by the way. And now you're helping other women find ways of extending their longevity as well.
That's right. Finding a way to extend it, to give them the energy and to
Yes.
give them the best health that they can have. Yes. And I've been able to also, again, because of challenges that came our way, I mean, as you know, with what I've shared previously, we move every 2 to 3 years. We move countries every 2 to 3 years because of my husband's work. And
Yes.
because of that, every time I set up a practice, a couple of years after, even a year after, I have to close
Move.
my practice and move to
Yeah.
the next place. But that now has led me to put my coaching and my consultations online. So
Okay.
now, no matter where I am and no matter where my clients are, they can actually organize a consultation with me. They can tap into my longevity insight modules, courses, and trainings online, and my
Okay.
coaching program. So to help them, again, like myself, find out how to build their health um, as naturally as possible, and
Mhm.
how to pinpoint what their weaknesses are so that they can strengthen those weaknesses. Because, Gertrude, the only reason we get sick is because we have those weaknesses that we haven't built up. If we
Okay.
understand how to build up those weaknesses, our
Yeah.
body can regenerate itself.
Yeah. Yeah. The body has got an amazing way of self-healing, but not a lot of people know how to tap into that part of themselves.
That's right. That's right.
Wow. Well, I am so looking forward to having you speak again on our platform as we roll on to the UK and the US events in the next 2 weeks. I know you did a fantastic job during the Sydney events and the Australia events. You will be running a workshop. Tell us a little bit about the workshops you will be running.
So on the 18th of December, I will be running a workshop. It's going to be at 11 a.m. Jakarta time. That would be, I think, about 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time.
Okay.
I have to figure out what the conversion is for the US. But in that workshop, basically, I provide you a step-by-step process of how you can create this routine in your life to just build and boost your system. We all need that, whether we're sick, whether we're chronically ill, or if it's just a matter of not having all the energy that you need.
Yes.
I had women that came to me because their hair was graying. And did you know that gray hair is actually a lack of minerals in your body?
Are you
If
serious?
all the minerals it needs, you can't have gray hair.
Can you reverse the gray back to black?
That's right. You can reverse the gray hair. There's a lot of documentations in that. But it really is a matter of putting back into your system what you're lacking. And the biggest problem is people can't just, it's not one of those things that you know straight away, that you see straight away. We do have testings that we do in anti-aging medicine to identify what your weaknesses are, what you're deficient in, and what needs to go back into your system.
Oh, fantastic.
So identify some of those.
So your practice is very individualized for each person and their needs.
It is. I really don't believe that there's one size fits all. I believe we're all unique and we all have our own challenges. Our body has its own set of challenges. So we need to identify what that is.
Fantastic. Well, we are so looking forward to tapping into your knowledge, your wisdom. And I just want to thank everybody who's tuned in tonight. Do register to attend the Her Story Online Summit. We had some fantastic speakers in the last week, talking from health and wellness, family and relationships, spirituality, social justice, creativity. It was a wide spectrum of subjects. And Michelle, words cannot express my gratitude for you coming online tonight and sharing with us.
Thank you. I am so honored. Your platform is amazing. I've learned so much by just listening to the other women myself. And I think no matter how you feel you kind of are okay with life or know everything, you need to listen to these women because you realize, oh my gosh, there's so much I don't know.
You need to know. Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. Tune in again tomorrow when I come back with yet another amazing woman on the Her Story TV and the Her Story podcast. This is Getrude Matshe in beautiful Wellington, New Zealand. Goodbye and see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.